Hello and welcome to Skeindeer Knits. My name is Ellie and I am a Norwegian living and knitting in London, and you can find me as Skeindeer on Instagram and Ravelry. And there is the Ravelry group Skeindeer Knits where you can find pretty much any information about this podcast, knit-alongs that are going on, announcements, giveaways, etc. And there will be some of that announced on this episode. I try to get it out on the episode before in the group or simultaneously, so hopefully that's what I'm going to be doing this time around. We'll see. So yeah, before we cover all those exciting things, I will just go through the knit-alongs that are currently happening, and one of them is the flea cardigan knit-along, or loppa, damjakka loppa knit-along if you will, that is co-hosted by me and Kristen of the Yarngrassen podcast. And this knit-along is very casual. We are currently not having a finishing date as of yet, so there's plenty of time for you to join this, and it is so quick to make. I'm sure you could make plenty of cardigans by the time that we close this knit-along. It is so quick. I can't believe it. You think a full body colorwork cardigan in very fine yarn would take a while. I will cover that more when I get to that particular work in progress though. I just thought you should know that that's a knit-along that is currently happening. And another knit-along that will be happening on September 1st is the Marius KAL. I don't really have much else to say about the Marius KAL this time around. Discussion is very interesting and engaging in the Ravelry group of Skeindeer Knits. Yeah, I don't have much to add other than reminding you we'll be casting on September 1st, so do join that. And actually it's a good opportunity to double dip into the hipster KAL that Jacqueline of the Brooklyn Knit Folk podcast, did I say that right? Oh my god, brain fog today, goodness me. Anyway, her knit-along will be starting on August 1st, so you'll have to hold on until hold on, not cast on until September 1st, because that's when my knit-along is starting. But if you want to double dip, you can totally do that. You will, however, then only have 3 months to finish if you want to enter into Jacqueline's knit-along. She's got a 4-month-long KAL, I believe. If you don't know, the rules for that KAL is that you are to knit a pattern that has less than 30 projects on Ravelry. And as it turns out, Norwegian knitters don't really use Ravelry that much, so a lot of these patterns, some might even be added to Ravelry. I think they should be, because I made sure that they are, but they don't have that many projects associated with them, so there's a good chance for you to find a Marius pattern that has less than 30 projects on Ravelry. So do consider that if you want to, but you have to be aware that September 1st is when my knit-along starts, and I am not allowed for any whips because this KAL has been announced way in advance, so you will have known about this, I should think. And so because the Marius knit-along will be starting on September 1st, the Color Your World Socks knit-along, it will finish on September 1st. I announced that in the last episode, so yeah, you will have already known this for a week already, but if you still want to take part and you haven't, there's actually still time to do so. And I have a bit of an exciting announcement in relation to this knit-along. But it needs a bit of a back history, I think. So there is a sock knit-along pattern subscription, yarn subscription thing going on. I'm not entirely sure what to call it, but Moods of Colors, which is an amazing Norwegian-Swedish dyer, is having a sock yarn club. Now I missed this club kind of on purpose because I don't have any money, but it's all sold out. But you can still get the patterns for the club and use stash yarn, which I intend to be doing. So the designs are by, and I hope I haven't forgotten anyone, it's Anna Fibre from Yarnesty, previously known as Alpaca Anna, and Wenche Dual, who is one of my favorite Norwegian designers, and of course Pia Kammerborn of the Kammerbornia podcast. So they'll be making a sock pattern each with Moods of Colors yarn, and Anna has so kindly given me only a copy of her sock pattern, which is the first one to go out on August 18th, but also 2 patterns for you guys. So what I have decided to do with this generosity of lovely Anna is having one giveaway for the sock pattern in general, which you're all free to enter once in a thread on Ravelry. Find the thread there and find the rules there, because I haven't decided now. It will be in the first post of that thread what the rules are for entry, okay? So that will be a entry that's open for all of you. However, the other copy of this pattern I will be giving away to those of you who have cast on the Colour Your World socks. So because the finishing date is soon, and some of you might think, oh, I won't finish in time, I'm not going to start. If you start now, you will be in the entry. You don't have to finish for these socks. I have a prize for finished Colour Your World socks. That will be the yarn by Ovis, etc., which I'm sure will be perfect for at least one of these sock patterns that will come out. So I hope that is clear. Let me summarize this again. There'll be one open giveaway for everybody to enter in a thread and Ravelry. You can get one person will get one copy of Anna's socks. They're called, I believe they're called the Town Wall socks. And I've knitted Anna's socks before and they were a treat to make, so that should be a great pattern, I am sure. And she says it's not color work, but it still uses 2 colors, I think. So that's the first giveaway. Okay, repeating myself now. The other copy will be given away to those who have cast on my Colour Your World socks. And I want to see like a proper progress, but certainly not finished. You don't have to finish. If you have finished, you're still in the draw. I will be drawing from the thread for the chatter thread, if you will, for this knit along. So just, yeah, show your progress. That's all I want to see. I want to see you have cast them on. If you haven't finished in time for September 1st, you are still in the entry for these socks, because I will be drawing the prize for the episode that goes up on August 17th. I figured that is a Thursday, check my calendar, and so that will be yours in time for the cast on, which is on August 18th. That's when the first queue of this mystery pattern comes out. So shall I repeat this one more time? One giveaway for everybody to enter in the thread and Ravelry, one giveaway for those of you who have cast on the Colour Your World socks, and you'll be getting that on August 17th. So that's when you will have to have started these socks, and it doesn't matter when you're finished, unless you want to win the Ovis etc. yarn. Then you have to finish by September 1st. Are we good? And you can win both the Ovis etc. yarn and the pattern if you are so lucky to be drawn twice and finish the pattern in time for September 1st. Who knows? You know, this is all up to chance. We're using a random number generator, so there is that. I hope, really hope that was clear. And very wordy. Other than that, I hope you guys got the memo last week that I will be teaching in Rhodes. So the Bearded Chiel's knitting retreats, that's John of Bearded Chiel, that will be happening in Rhodes in Greece next year, and links to that below. I'll be teaching there, so come along. It's really well priced. Oh my god. So that was an announcement from last week. This week I have the most exciting announcement, personally I think, that for the entire year. I have been keeping this secret for a long time from you guys, and that is that I have made a pattern subscription club. And it will start on September 1st as well, which is kind of why I was a bit hesitant about when to start the Marius KAL. But this is a completely different kind of pattern, sort of. It's smaller. It is a colorwork mitten subscription club. So how can I explain this? Wait. So without giving anything away, you will have the patterns to make these. Okay, I'm not going to show you anything. I'm going to show you the first ones because that is the pattern we already know. That's my Selbu mittens. Okay, I'm going to put this away now before I accidentally show you anything. I'm so excited. So, explaining these rules carefully now. It started, I'm going to start from the beginning. I made these mittens as a pattern for a knitting class that I had been asked to teach in London, because I needed something to teach Norwegian colourwork knitting, and I thought a mitten is a small enough project, but there aren't really enough beginner-friendly Norwegian mitten patterns out there, and I think it would be good if they are in a heavy DK weight, because then you can make them rather quickly, because usually Norwegian mittens are made in very fine yarn, very densely. So I came up with this pattern, and you can use pretty much any woolen spun, non-superwash, DK weight yarn, leaning towards worsted rather than sport weight, but you could probably go either way. And so I made this pattern, and after I'd had these classes I thought, well, if I just kind of change up a few things in this pattern, it's self-contained, you know. I can just put that out there on Ravelry and people can learn how to make these mittens on their own. And so I did, and it worked, and we did a KAL for it, and so many people have made their very first colorwork mittens, and I saw several individuals make several pairs of this very same pattern. And that's when I thought, wouldn't it be fun if you guys had more patterns to choose from? So that's where the design process started, and I whipped up Excel and I charted out lots of versions of the mittens, and eventually it ended up being changed stitch count, and so they kind of follow the same formula. So if you're kind of wondering what kind of patterns you'll be getting, it is similar to the first pattern, but it's altered as well. So it is of course 5 unique patterns, and the first pattern is the Selbu mitten pattern, which is already out. So that's just a bonus. So if you've already bought the pattern, you don't have to pay extra for that when you buy the bundle. If you haven't bought it, it's included, it's fine. That's not really the point. The point of this bundle, if you will, is that you get 4 new exclusive mitten patterns. So I guess if you're already familiar with Curious Handmade, Shawl Society, or Me After Knitting Expats sock clubs, this is kind of in that format. So when you buy this ebook, this bundle, this kind of pattern collection, you will only be getting the one that's already published right away. But each month, so September 1st, October 1st, November 1st and December 1st, you'll be getting 4 mitten patterns, 1 pattern each month, sorry. And they're not mystery patterns. You'll be getting the patterns in full on that day, photos and everything. So hopefully that means you want to hop along. And you've seen a glimpse of the mittens now. They're all knit up. Granted, I have some ends to weave in and nice photos to take, but yes, they're hard. It will be ready and patterns are done. I've had wonderful test knitters. Oh, this is so exciting. So there will be a grand knit along for the whole thing. I have been wanting to have a knit along per pair of mittens, but I just don't have the funds for giveaways for that. So we're just going to do 1 grand knit along, and the more mittens you make, the more entries you have. So you can make, I don't know, 4 of the first pair and you have 4 entries, so you can make 1 of each pair and you have 4 entries. I don't care, there's no limit to this. I just want people to make mittens, and the idea is kind of that by Christmas you will have 4 to 5 pairs of mittens, depending on if you want to make the already published mittens. You will have 4 to 5 pairs to give away, maybe as Christmas presents. They knit up really quickly. Like, I can make 1 of these in a rather long evening. So yeah, it shouldn't be an issue to make a pair in a month, even if you're new to this. I have made each and every pattern with beginners in mind, and I'm going to publish them in order of simplicity. So the simplest pattern will come up first, slightly more difficult second, and so on until the 4th. And the way they vary in difficulty is not in their construction. They will all be constructed in roughly the same way. The difficulty will vary in terms of how intricate the charts are. So the first chart is rather intuitive. You will less likely mess up, whereas the 4th one, as long as you keep your eyes on the chart, you'll be fine, but it just requires slightly more concentration. But they're all equally easy to make and equally quick to make, and requires only 2 colors. So you need basically 2 50-gram balls of DK yarn, 1 in each color. That's it. So, oh god, I'm so relieved to have said this now. I'm recording this ahead of Thursday, so I'm gonna be a mess until then. Just like, announcement's gonna come out soon, and I hope you guys want to join. And let's talk money. Yeah, so the value of this bundle, if you don't count the pattern that's already out, it's £20. The Selbu mittens already included. That's a bonus, so it's worth £20. And I'll be charging £18 for the entire bundle, so you get 5 pairs of mittens for £18, except the early bird price is £14. So you get like a mitten pattern and a half for free, I think, there. So I hope you find that worth it, and yeah, £14 for 5 pairs of mittens. And a lot of follow-up from me. I promise I will be hovering over you in the Ravelry group, helping out. It's gonna be great. So yeah, the whole thing starts on September 1st. I'll be talking about this again and again, but I just want to announce this now because the bundle is for sale now with the early bird price of £14. And whatever that is in your country, in your currency, you'll kind of have to do the calculations there, although I'm sure Ravelry does that for you. There will be VAT charged because I can't decide that. You've heard plenty of designers talk about this before, I'm sure. The Ravelry automatically finds out where you are, so if you are in the EU, you are being charged the EU VAT from the country you are, and then that goes to me, and every month I am charged that amount that Ravelry sends back to that country. It's a super simple arrangement that Ravelry have sorted out for designers so that indie designers can flourish out there. So it's pretty great, but if you're upset by the VAT charge, then that is actually not something that is the fault of the designer. It doesn't go to the designer, it goes to the country that you are in. So yeah, early bird price of £14, so get it while you can still get it at that price if you wanna join in on this. It's gonna be so much fun, and oh my god, I just want to talk about this for ages, but I think we need to move along on this in this episode, and I hope I said everything that I needed to say, but there will be plenty of time to talk about this pattern subscription club and the knit along for it and all that stuff in the future, but it's out there now. So I have some finished objects. I'm going to talk about works in progress at the very end of this video because it makes sense to talk about acquisitions before that. But finished objects we can do right now because I'm sure you know what this is. So they're done. The Enigma mittens, which is a mystery mitten along by Tori Seierstad, also known as Tori Roth on Ravelry. They're done. They have thumbs. Last time they didn't have thumbs, and now they have thumbs. And they are blocked, except the thumbs. I didn't block the thumbs. Who blocks thumbs anyway? So this is how pretty they are when they're blocked. Yeah, look at that. It's so smooth and so even and so awesome. I just, oh, ever since I discovered mitten blocking, total convert. It's actually thanks to Juju Vale, who kind of is just a knitting everything person. She had a design in the latest pom-pom actually, and she's been the guest editor of the autumn version of pom-pom, which is coming out very soon. She told me, because she is kind of the local loop knitting people thingy, that you can basically cut out foam board pieces in the shape of the mittens that you're making, slightly larger obviously because you're going to want to stretch them, and just thread your mittens over that. You don't need to buy mitten blockers because they can be very hard to come across, and I found when I do come across them that they're too small. I put my hand over them and they're smaller than my hand, so that is not going to stretch out the mitten. So I just did this. I cut these out in foam board, which I get in a fancy hipster craft shop just down the road here. Sure did she. So yeah, they just became super nice, and I am happy to give you a close-up this time around. So yeah, 4 mittens. All of a sudden I have 2 pairs, and I guess they'll be going in the Christmas gift basket if I had one. I don't know, like just think of some family members who might appreciate these. Friends or something. Like, who of you are crazy to want these? No, I'm really happy. I'm really happy that I managed to go out of my comfort zone with both of these. I shopped for PT2 yarn when I was in Norway and couldn't decide on which bunch of 4 skeins to get because you need 4 colors for each of these. So I went with this out of my comfort zone bundle and this out of my comfort zone bundle that I myself put together obviously. And yeah, happy with both of them. Very different, very fun to go with something that isn't shades of red and grey and white and black. So yeah, I'm gonna, should I put them on? They did become a bit long, I have to say. The pattern gives you several options of length. You can do omit some rows, and I was like, nah, gonna make them long. So they are, actually they're just right. Yeah, they're like, you can kind of pinch here, but that's fine. You want a bit of wriggle room in your mittens. So they don't have a thumb gusset, but I still find the fit is fine, which is something I was really worried about as I was making them. but blocking, you guys, it cures everything. So look at that. Oh, the thumb and the crown of these are just amazing. I kind of want to make a kind of modified bustabina with this chart. I've been toying with that idea. I just don't know when I'll have time, because God knows I have a lot of projects and things in my queue. So one last look at these before we maybe never see them again, because they're gonna go in my... I have a box of mittens. I might show you that sometime, but these are not gonna fit because the box of mittens have been full for a long time. So maybe I'll employ the Marius cookie cake tins soon. So I went to a Fibre festival last weekend. I went to Fibre East, and if you don't know about Fibre East, it is an annual Fibre festival just north of London in Bedford. And wow, I am surprised. I thought it was going to be quite a minor event. Like, I don't know why I imagine it being small. It's huge. It's like Edinburgh Yarn Festival huge. I mean, not in the sense of maybe number of... I don't know, yeah, I do feel like it was that big. It was big. It was just like lots of cars and people and buildings. They took over the entire school, so like using multiple buildings and tents outside and sheep shearing, shows, people in fancy costumes, and yeah, I just was blown away. And I went there actually with the idea that I wasn't going to buy much yarn. I didn't have any yarn in mind. I just wanted to look for some equipment of sorts, but I did end up buying some yarn. But I have to say, I am quite proud of myself for how I handled this festival, because I have actually not bought a crazy amount, as you will see now. So in the beginning I wasn't quite sure if I would be that good, but it turns out I was. But actually I started out by getting 3 undyed skeins, and this is just amazing yarn. Just okay, so they're called wool tops, and I've actually met them before when vending at Wonderwool, but yeah, back then for some reason I didn't think about dyeing so much, so I didn't get any. So this is the Falkland Merino 4-ply, so I got 2 of them. It's a non-superwash, amazingly soft and wonderful merino. So I had to get 2 skeins, so if I dye them in something similar-ish, they can be in something like a shawl. I don't know, I don't dye, so that's something I'm gonna have to learn. But I only have good things to say about this yarn, and it was definitely affordable and just lovely and just gonna be fun to play with. And you know, when they sell these this affordably, you don't... I'm not that scared of messing up the dyeing, you know? And you can always over dye. So 400 meters each. Just awesome. I'm very happy I got these. Another 400 meter skein was a Polworth nylon yarn. So it's a sock yarn, a fingering weight sock yarn, which I'm gonna dye and I guess make socks. I do regret not getting another skein actually, because I forgot that I usually do colorwork socks and I need 2 skeins for that, because you want at least 2 colors. Well, I'm sure there'll be another chance. So yeah, I feel pretty good about these, and I think I should just show you the logo just so that you know who these people are, because this is amazing yarn. And just in the same room I found John Arbon, and I've been pretty good at not splurging on John Arbon the past few times I have seen them. I do have 4 skeins of their Viola yarn, but I've actually not bought... Sorry if you can hear my neighbour's dog. This is a regular guest in the podcast. But yes, I have bought 4 skeins of Viola, and I have their shade cards and knit by numbers, but I haven't actually bought a knit by numbers until now. And I got something that they actually haven't been selling before. And that's shade kits of the 4-ply knit by numbers. They do knit by numbers both in DK yarn and in 4-ply, and I got the 4-ply. Which again, 4-ply is such a misleading term, because these have 2 plies, which most 4-ply yarns nowadays do. It's just weird. So anyway, I found my colors. I was really torn between these and the burgundy set. Seriously, just be quiet, everybody. So yeah, I ended up with these, and I know exactly what to make with it, and I have even cast it on, so we will be seeing these again in this episode. But yeah, just oh my god. And John Arbon is buttered kittens in terms of softness. It's crazy how soft this yarn is. It's a non-superwash merino, and amazing. Just oh, let me just read this label. Oh, I'm dropping skeins. Knit by numbers mini. 91, I think that's the colorway. 4-ply, 25 grams. And there's a little Arbon logo there for those of you who are curious, and it's not focusing, so never mind. So yeah, they will go on sale on their website soon, I was told, and that's, yeah, I'll drop one on the floor, but that's what I got, and I just love them, and I just, oh, I want to show you what I'm gonna make with them, or I am making with them in a bit. But yeah, I'm just totally lost in the darkest shade here. I think we will be seeing that one again when maybe I've diminished my stash somewhat. But yeah, a lot of time passed actually, and I didn't buy anything, and I felt that was really good. And then I found some fabrics. I've never really been swayed by fabrics because I don't know how to sew, so I wouldn't know how to even buy fabrics. But I know what fat quarters are now, and I know what to do with them, so I got some. So just look at these, look at them, look at them, look at all those colors. Just so we're just looking at future drawstring bags, and they already made the combination job for me, so this is certainly going to be easier and possibly also prettier than the other fabrics I have bought that I am mixing and matching myself. I'm saving these for last though, because these are gorgeous. So yeah, fabrics, who knew? I'm building my fabric stash and I don't know how to sew. This is a bit alarming, really. But yes, I was a little bit naughty, and I think it's okay to be a little bit naughty, because I got 2 skeins of something I didn't really have specific plans for or anything. I just thought they were pretty. And they are pretty, aren't they? I think we agree these were something I had to buy. And so I want to talk about the dyer, because this is her, I'm assuming it's a her logo. They usually hers in this business. So it's the BFL Smooth Sock Base, 100% Blueface Leicester. A sock with yarn, 100 grams, 400 meters. It's recommended a 32 stitch gauge on 10 centimeters, which I totally agree with. That is the perfect sock gauge. And needle size 2.25. I'd probably have to go up half the needle size, as always. And machine washable and gentle wool cycle. I'm so glad they say that. I'm so annoyed when people say you can't wash wool in the washing machine. You can. Even non-superwash you can if you have a good program for it. So yeah, this colorway is called Behind the Scenes, and just have a thorough look at behind the scenes, because damn. And the other colorway is brinjal. I don't know what you make of that, but yeah, this is the colorway. Just look how well they go together. I actually saw this colorway when there were multiple skeins there, and I was like, I'll come back for you maybe, I don't know, I shouldn't be. And I came back and it was gone, and I was like, oh, but so this skein and it's gone and I wasn't going to buy it, but where is it? And they had more in the boxes below, and I saw how well it fit with this one. So yes, maybe this will be for the next Helen Stewart shawl that will be launched, I think the same day that this episode goes up. I don't know, I haven't decided yet. If it's a crescent shape, then probably not, because we've been down that road before, and me and crescent shaped shawls are just not gonna get on. So, but these are just a thing of BFL beauty. So we're down to the very last thing that I bought, and it was the thing that I wanted the most, and I wanted it for a long time, but I've always been a bit unsure if it's something I need, if it's something I should spend money on. They're not super expensive, but they're also not super cheap. And I do have a umbrella Swift already. I just don't particularly like it because the way it bites into the edge of my table isn't great, and it doesn't really wind skeins back again if I want to put them back into a hank. It just kind of hops off the table, and it's annoying. But now I have a table Swift. And yeah, this Swift has been close to knocking over a couple of drinks on my table a few times already. So you just put this flat on the table like this, and it's got pegs. Now there is a 4th peg missing because I'm using it as a bookmark, as you do. But yeah, just, oh, I love this thing so much, and I want to wind skeins all the time. I'm obsessed with it. So I've actually seen other people use these Amish style Swift before, and this is a ChiaoGoo one. You can see the little bit ChiaoGoo logo here, and you see that. Make it cover my face. That's the best I can do. So I've heard people mention it before, and I just never really believed why these were so good. But people say that they are easy to stow away. That is true, but so is my umbrella Swift, and it's literally just like a little pinchy thing, and I put it back up again, so it's arguably easier. But this is pretty easy to stow away still, I have to say. And just the main reason I wanted to get it is because the wind skeins either direction, but I think I also prefer that it's at the same level as my wool winder, so it doesn't pull from the top. And I've had problems with skeins being pulled from above and then actually coming off the winder. I feel like this might diminish that problem slightly as well, but I still probably need to take on some of you guys' advice on how to avoid that. So yeah, I just have good things to say about this, and I don't know exactly what it is beyond being able to wind skeins back again. For some reason that's really important to me, although I do have a niddy noddy. It's just this thing makes it so much more efficient, and I just, yeah, it's just much more pleasant to wind with, I have to say. Even if just adjusting the umbrella swift is arguably easier, I would totally recommend this over any umbrella swift. There, I said it. And I always thought that umbrella swifts were better because those are the ones you see in yarn shops, so obviously they are better. I'm not so sure now, because I think they have them in yarn shops because they're so easy to put back together but still keep them on the table without them occupying the entire room. Obviously if this thing's out, it's gonna occupy this much space, and if you put it together, people can't really use it. So I think that's the main reason. If yarn shops had space for these, they'd probably use them. It's a bold claim, but that's I'm gonna stand by that. They are great. I love it. So happy to have gotten that. So yeah, I just have wonderful things to say about Fibre. I'm definitely gonna make that an annual thing that I do as long as I am in London or nearby. I just thought that was a crazy awesome event. I can't really put into words. It was just such a nice balance of what they had. It was nicely balanced between spinning and knitting and crochet. It had something for everybody there and not too much of anything. I didn't feel like anyone there exhibiting were redundant anyhow. I didn't feel like there were any vendors that I thought were easy to mistake for other vendors. Like, everybody seems to serve a distinct and unique purpose, and so that was just really, really cool. And also just seeing friends there, people I haven't seen in a long time, people I know via this sort of knitting thing that we got going on, you know, fellow podcasters. It was just super nice to meet up with people in such a small event as well relative to Edinburgh. I said it was the same size, but in terms of podcasting and kind of knitting fame, Edinburgh is a lot bigger. This was big in terms of size, but in terms of the people there, it's just kind of your, yeah, it's more casual. So actually being able to see people in the more relaxed environment of Fibre East was really, really good. So I just have good things to say about that, and I look forward to going next year. Now I actually have more stash to show you, more stash additions, because I received a parcel in the mail from a fellow knitter, I guess viewer of the podcast, who wanted to swap with me because she was going to Shetland, and so she sent me a parcel and I'm sending her one. And yeah, a little Shetland Norway swap there. And so I got the parcel in the mail today, and I want to show you what I got because it's amazing. So thank you so much, and we should totally meet up next time I am in Edinburgh, because God knows I'm dying to go back to Edinburgh. But yeah, let's look at the yarn. She got me some Undyed yarn. Look at that. So she did just amazing choices. I mean, look at this red. It is like red bordering crimson. No, it is crimson. I love crimson red. I love red in general, but if it's more on the crimson side and on the orange side, it's right up my alley. So another Undyed skein. Another. I don't have Undyed actually, because I didn't for some reason buy them in Edinburgh. I should have, but I didn't. So now I don't have to regret it. And it's 173 meters per 50 gram cake. And this green, like, I am a bit careful with green. Why am I doing this? This is stupid. Yeah, just don't buy green much, but there are the odd greens that I like, and this is certainly one of them. And just look at that. And there is a more kind of, I guess, natural shade. So are we looking at some mittens again? 3-color mittens. Maybe I'll just save these for whatever Mr. Mittens Tweety comes up with next. I mean, I'm sure she will come up with some for her advent calendar. She did that last year and the year before, so if there are 3 colors for that, I might just put these aside for that already. Maybe I'll just make the ones from the year before last year, because I think they went in these colors. And even if it's not mystery, I might just, yeah. So thank you so much. They are so cool. I just, oh, this yarn, okay, let's talk about the actual quality of this yarn. It's rustic, but I love the feel of it. I think Shetland yarn is soft, so I'm one of those crazy people. And this is just smooth. Like, when I'm just kind of stroking it, it's just like, I don't feel any spikes, you know. It has that stickiness to it, but not spikiness. Does that make sense? I hope so. So yeah, looking forward to knit with that. Thank you so much again. And it doesn't end here. No. She wanted to add some from her stash as well. Yeah, that colour in Blackie Yarn's original Cornish tin DK weight. Let's talk about Cornish tin. I'm going to try to hold this up while I do. This will work out. Cornish tin by Blackie Yarn, the 10th birthday blend. Can you see it? So it has 70% wool, 10% mohair and 20% alpaca. And I believe the 70% wool percentage has a good mix of fibers within itself. Different sheep blends, that is. And yeah, it's a DK weight, 220 meters per cake. And it's the wheel rose red. And it's the woolen spun yarn. And that is just perfect. So, goodness me. Like, first thing I thought when I saw this is actually, I'm gonna sound like the most spoilt person ever. It's like, I want another 3 because if I have 6, I can make the Syria cardigan. But I have 3 now, so, and these are not, they don't exist anymore because Blackie Yarns came up with another Cornish tin that's taken over. And this is the old one. But if anyone watching this happens to have another 3 of these, hook me up. But if not, I mean, there's always the campsite shawl, but it would be a great Syria. Syria campsite. Anyway, this just, it's perfect. Thank you so much. Couldn't have just done a better job of stash diving for me. Thank you. Oh my god. It is so gorgeous. I'm gonna put that away now. Enough stash hauling every goddamn episode. I hope I will have an episode soon where I'm not going to be showing you stuff because this is crazy. But there are no Fibre festivals coming up anytime soon. I'm still really hoping to go to one of the Norwegian ones, either Bergen or Oslo. I just don't know. I haven't made any plans yet. What I do know is that I have been accepted to some conferences in Vancouver for my PhD, so I'll hopefully be going to Vancouver at the end of the year. But not for Fibre reasons. But they have yarn shops there, so I am hopeful. I just realized that I forgot to haul one of the things that I bought. I bought a knitting project bag, and we can talk about that when we get to that whip. Okay, good? Are we good? Yes. So let's talk about the first whip I was gonna talk about. And that is of course the flea cardigan. I have made some progress on this. I say some. Where is it? There we are. This is what we have. It looks quite similar to last time, I'm sure you're thinking, but guess what? The sleeves are done. It's a bit of a risky business because I actually haven't tried them on. If they turn out to be shorter than they should be, though I follow the measurements in the pattern and they usually are right for me, this kind of centimeter, so they probably fit fine. But if not, I'll just knit the rib longer. So yeah, got 2 sleeves done, and yeah. So far, cardigan doesn't weigh anything. I've got a skein hanging there. And in addition to that skein, what I have left to knit from is these. And that's all that's going to go into this cardigan. Probably less than that, you know. So I keep raving about how little it's going to weigh, but it's going to be so light. Just, oh, I just love this thing. You should knit it. You should all knit it. So just for clarity, this is the pattern I was talking about in the beginning of the episode that is being knitted in the knit along that me and Kristen of Yarngasm are hosting. So it is quick. It is just really quick. I mean, you guys know how many projects I knit on at the same time, and you have now seen that I've been secretly knitting mittens as well. You can fully appreciate how quick this project is given how much I've gotten done despite all the other stuff I've also been doing. So yeah, I'm just gonna put that away. There's not much else to say aside from that. I went down half a needle size for the cuff, and yeah, I have experimented a bit with needle sizes on this. I've done the color work on a 4mm needle. I've done the lice body and non-color work bits in 3.75. Technically I should have done the odd color work rows in 4, but this was fine. it doesn't look weird, so it's fine. And then I went down to 3.25 for the rib. And I obviously have a very tight gauge, so the proportion of the needle sizes might be good for anyone, but the actual sizes might be relative for people's individual tension. I've been really bothered by air traffic here lately. I think they've just rearranged the airlines literally so that planes are crossing this side of London differently, and so it's just really loud, in addition to an air ambulance that have started south of here going north, and it's really loud. And I'm glad people are getting help, but wow, it's a lot of loudness per day. And there's of course the lovely neighbor that is my dog, and this guy who seems to have it as his job to like trim shrubs, use a chainsaw and blow leaves every time I am podcasting, and it's a lovely sunny day where I need to have the windows open. I just needed to vent about that. I hope you don't mind. Anyway, flea cardigan, it's getting there. I think I'll be done very, very soon, which is good because I plan to cast on a lace sweater for the Hipster KAL that Jacqueline of Brooklyn Knitful podcast is hosting. So I should get some things cleared off the needles. So it stands to reasons that I've done a few cast-ons this week, right? The first cast-on I actually did a week ago, and I thought I'd finish really quickly, but then I had some issues with size, so I needed my model to come over, boyfriend, and it lives in the best project bag I have ever bought in my entire life. I got this at Paper Chase, the big one at Good Street in London. So yeah, head over there and get the best project bag ever. I mean, look at that. So in his mouth we have the antler hat. So let me show you that. He actually glows in the dark. I think his eyes glows in the dark. That's what the label says anyway. But the antler hat is not. And this is what we have. And I was just knitting this. I'm like, well, if I make 2 more repeats of the antlers, it's gonna be a very long hat. And I have added this provisional green edge here that I'm gonna take back and use whatever I had left of this itty bitty skein for the rib. It's a bit backwards. I just like making things complicated for myself. So yeah, I just put this on my head and I realized, oh, I need to decrease now. I can't be doing more cables. Let's decrease now and do the rib, because the rib can be like here. So that is probably already too long, quite frankly. Oh god. So yeah, I am using Embla, which is a Norwegian yarn. It's the thicker equivalent of Usk, both by Hillesvåg, also known as Hifa, which is an amazing wool spinner and producer and blah 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 in Norway. I love them, and you've heard me rave about them before. So this is what the wool looks like close up. It is a amazing DK2 worsted weight yarn. It's a pretty standard Norwegian weight. If we say yarn is normal, we usually mean a heavy DK. We're just an odd bunch. You know, we don't use yarn weight, we just say normal, thinner, thicker. So that's what we have here. So I'm just gonna show you that whenever I finish it. I hope I'll be done next week. It was gonna be just a quickie that I wasn't gonna be showing up 2 episodes, but there we go. I'm never as quick as I think I am. But I am on a hat kick. I thought I was gonna be on a hat kick, and I think I am. It just needs to be slightly thicker yarn than fingering weight. Don't you agree? I have another 2 works in progress to show you as well, and they're also new cast-ons. I know, I'm crazy. I just like knitting. I don't know if I'm a project knitter or a process knitter, because I thought maybe I was a process knitter because I don't care about finishing my project. I'm just like, I just want to knit these things. But I also have several projects going on at once, which is a classic sign of a project knitter more so than a process knitter, because process knitters can be happy with having just 1 or 2 projects going and just knit for the sake of the process, whereas I'm definitely like, I want that, and I want that, and I want that, and I want that. But then again, I don't want it enough to actually finish. I just want it enough to start making them and use my yarn. So I'm just a weird hybrid, I think. I say I don't care about finishing. I do care about finishing at some point. I'm just like, I don't beat myself up over having 20 something whips. I like to clear it around New Year's. It doesn't always happen. I have roughly maybe 3-4 UFOs that are in a very serious emergency condition. But yeah, I'm just okay with it. The alternative is beating myself up over it. The alternative isn't having fewer whips for me. Because as a certain other podcaster says, you just gotta knit what makes you happy. That's insight number 23 philosophy there, and I agree with that. Although I probably, yeah, I am a bit reckless with my cast on, so shall we just have a look at the next one? So, as you might remember from last episode, I bought a cone of tweed yarn, of DK tweed yarn. It's got 500 grams on this cone. Just gonna put that down and show you what is on those, on the needles there. It is in fact the brick sweater. And I know I am knitting it slightly above gauge because this yarn does not have any give to it in this particular state. It needs a good wash to soften up and kind of, you know, do the thing. But it's not so big that this neck hole needs to be this big, right? This is big. This is a big neck opening, so I need to probably put in my connected interchangeables and really see what's going on here, because I wonder if this is going to be very oversized. I mean, I know I'm going to pick up the neckline and do a rib and gather it, so it might actually just be fine. Like if I, here's the back and front of this thing, if I do this, like it goes from shoulder to shoulder, and if I put on the rib and around there, it might actually be fine. I might just be exaggerating this, but I feel like it is very open right now. But it could just be the fact that this yarn has no give to it. There's no bounce, there's none of that. It's very rough to knit with. But I've read through Ravelry comments and they all praise it for what it is when you wash it up, which is kind of classic of yarn from Undyed. The same thing with the Highland wool that they have, which comes in cones and 50-gram cakes and smaller scraps in case you need that. It's really good for the fleece cardigan actually. Someone mentioned that in the group as well. That's a very good point. If you want Highland wool from Undyed, then they sell smaller than 50-gram cakes, so you don't actually need to have, you know, a bunch in your stash for when you've used up the colours. For when you haven't used up the colours, when you've used as much as you need in your cardi. So yeah, this is the brick sweater. It is a very kind of straightforward, simple stockinette raglan in worsted weight yarn. It's made for shelter initially, and I find it a bit odd that I have to go down so many needle sizes rather than up. That's not usually what I have to do. But I realised my gauge is quite different with thicker yarns for some odd reason. Actually, when I hold it like this, it seems fine. Yeah. So I think I'll be alright. But yeah, it's a very simple knit. Very simple knit through front and back loop increases, just very straightforward, but the yarn is tough and I feel a bit of pain here in my right hand, I have to say. This is a hairband, by the way. And it's not like, I'm not worried I'm getting like golfer's elbow or anything, because that is a very shooting pain. I've actually had similar things in my foot, so I know what that is. This is more of a sort of dull, kind of as if I've slept on my arm kind of pain, which might actually be what's going on. It might not have anything to do with this. So I'm just trying to be relaxed and not use the muscles here too intensely. It's my right hand and I'm a continental knitter, so it should really be my left hand, shouldn't it? But I think I steer more with my right hand, so if this is very tough, I need to put in my muscle. So I think maybe me and this jumper are gonna go on a little bit of a break, just to be safe. Don't want to be stupid here. But yeah, I just look forward to having this. And if it is gonna be oversized, I'm okay.